Welcome, welcome, welcome to the ill blur. Magic shooby-doo-doo, oh yeah. Welcome back to Ill Blur Magic in today's new TV show review. Yes, finally I got a chance to see it. What show am I talking about? Bel Air. Yes, the reboot of what show am I talking about? Fresh Prince of Bel Air, pretty much. So let's get right into it. Episode 1 review, Dreams and Nightmares. So episode 1 literally starts off with Will inside this chair, inside this dream with a crown on, or I should say pretty much a throne. And we see Will wake up from that dream, literally, and pretty much him getting ready for school. Also, we learn about what Will is, some of his daily activities. Pretty much Will hanging out with his friend Trey is one of them. Him being a student. Also, him being a part of a basketball team. So we also see that. Also, him talking about his basketball scholarship. That's the thing that he's trying to do in West Philly as well. Trying to get the basketball scholarship. But his dreams are cut suddenly short due to a situation pretty much with him and Trey. Trey is another friend of Will's. Maybe like a best friend or a close friend in West Philly. And they're challenged by this local street cat about a basketball game. So pretty much Will ends up taking the challenge with the basketball game. And they come across the street cat and the big street cat, Rah-Rah. And pretty much they play the basketball game. It was him and Trey against Rah-Rah, another street cat that was the one that affiliated the challenge, or I should not affiliate, initiated the challenge, I meant to say. And literally, we see Will and pretty much Trey win the basketball game fair and square, meaning that they won hands down, But then Rah-Rah Mans does something to cause some friction, and Rah-Rah is like a loose cannon, like, who did this? Who did that? And literally what happens is now we see Will's friend Trey, like in the crossfire, probably getting hurt. But what does Will do? He pulls out the gun and shoots it straight up in the air. But after that, he ends up getting arrested. So now Will is sitting in a jail cell, pretty much due to this situation. Who also sitting in the jail cell from him, not inside the same jail cell? Rah-Rah. Rah-Rah looks very angry. He has this angry look of disgust and hate in his eyes, literally like for Will due to the situation, because now he was also in jail due to that altercation. So now with Will eventually gets out, and Rah-Rah sees him like, hey, how is he able to get out? Da, da, da. And he said it ain't over, you know what I'm saying? So it means like Rah-Rah is about that business. So the next scene literally takes place with him inside his mother's vehicle and them driving somewhere to a destination. So pretty much what happens is mother talks to him, say, why would you do these things? You could have had a basketball scholarship, just a typical mother-son talk and everything. And the mother said, I'm sorry, but you cannot live here in West Philly anymore. And Will was like, why not? I thought I was going to go back home and everything and things are going to be back to normal. Rah-Rah pretty much is the biggest street cat in West Philly, and he pretty much has something out for Will. So now Will has to transition to a new environment due to his own, it's not necessarily stupidity, but to some degree it was, because he could have handled it another way maybe, but then again, we don't know that, So pretty much Will is now has to live with his aunt and uncle. And now it takes the scene to where he's in the car with the driver, and him and the driver have a conversation. They get out the car and say, hey, they're going to try to change who you are, stay true to who you are, even though you're in a new environment in California, you're not in West Philly anymore, that type of talk. They get back in the car. Literally, we see his name is Jazz. Jazz is the driver. And pretty much Jazz is like, yo, I need to get paid. So we're introduced to Jeffrey. Jeffrey is the house manager of Bel Air. He pays Jazz. Jazz dips off, but before he dips off, he gives Will his contact card with this information on there to contact him if need be. So now we're introduced to Aunt Viv. Aunt Viv is happy to see her nephew. She asks, is he okay and everything due to what happened. She's the loving aunt. She acts like a mother to him. You know, it's like usually your aunt's like a second mother to you to some degree. And literally we see that she really appreciated her nephew's there. She's glad to see him. But now we're introduced to the next character, and that is Hillary. Hillary, she's like this social media, figure, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. That's what she's doing, social media. You see her on the phone, live. So we're introduced to Hillary. Hillary's glad to see her cousin, but also she hits up her cousin with some new gear that's not necessarily new, but it's Carlton stuff that he wasn't able to fit, because I guess Carlton thought he was going to be tall. Unfortunately, Carlton is short, right? So we're introduced to pretty much Carlton's room, or not Carlton's room, I'm going to say Hillary's old room, pretty much. And literally just the relationship between them and them kicking it to some degree for a minute, and styling her cousin up. You know what I'm saying? She still likes fashion, and now she's got the social media thing going on. So that's the next thing. Now we're introduced to Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil, they're at this event for Uncle Phil, and pretty much, Uncle Phil is happy to see Will, but he just doesn't like how he's interacting with the people that's at his event, because maybe Will's a little bit too West Philly with all the different handshakes and dabs and, that type of stuff. But Uncle Phil's glad to see he's there. He's the one that actually got him out of jail, pretty much, and that's why he's there. Also in this episode, we see Carlton. Carlton is pretty much the antagonist. And he's not happy to see Will. He said, he's like, I know you lying. He said, I know you capping pretty much, like he lying about him being there for a better education, but that's because that's what Uncle Phil wanted him to say. And also we see in this episode, Will trying to sneak out of the Bel Air pretty much, to save his friend Trey. Trey looks like, he's on the phone with Trey. Trey looks, he looks sad, panicked, like he got beat up, about Rah-Rah's people. But pretty much that was short-lived. Will got caught by Uncle Phil and Jeffrey pretty much, and literally he couldn't go nowhere. So now we see pretty much Hillary cooking for Will and the family for breakfast, and Uncle Phil telling him about the school that he's gonna go to, and also Aunt Viv telling him like literally like you're going to be going to the Bel Air Academy, and also that Carlton's going to be the one to introduce you to the people at the school and stuff like that. And Carlton's like, nah, I don't need him, to be around me and none of that stuff. But then we eventually find out why. In this episode, when Carlton and him split up, when they go to the actual academy, we see that pretty much after Will hanging out with his ex-girlfriend from the party, that literally Carlton is hanging around a whole bunch of white people. He ain't got no black friends. And one of his white friends triggered Will. When he said the N-word, Will was not having that. And him and Carlton have a dispute about it. He's like, well, you let him say that word? That ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? So Carlton's like this Uncle Tom to some degree. And Will just wasn't having it. He's like, so also we see in this episode that pretty much Carlton still is going to have to deal with Will. And what do I mean by that? Will is now going to the party that Carlton was telling Will about. And when he gets to the party, Carlton does his normal thing. He seems like he's into drugs and stuff. He has a drug addiction. But Will is hanging out with the ex-girlfriend again. And we can see Carlton is furious. Like he literally... It goes over there because when his friends tell him, like, oh, it seems like she's got a new boyfriend, and that triggered pretty much Carlton. Carlton goes over there and pushes Will into the swimming pool. Poor Will. Will did not know how to swim. So who comes to the rescue? The ex-girlfriend of Carlton. And when Will gets out the pool, and Carlson's ex-girlfriend literally comes and say, hey, you all right, to Will and stuff, because she was making sure Will was okay. She's the one that got him out the pool. Him and Carlson have some more problems, like literally. And what does Will do? Will punches him, and the episode ends that way. So I gotta say, this episode to me, it was a 4 out of 5. I like this episode. We learned about Carlson's got his own dirt. He's like into drugs. We see that either Uncle Phil has his doubts about pretty much Will. I like how the music flowed with the actual show. Like, they had some nice tracks. Thundercat, they had J. Cole, Meek Mill. I'm glad they had the Meek Mill Dreams and Nightmares songs. I'm like, yo, we can't have a name of an episode that don't match and flow with it. He had one of the Freeway songs and a few other songs. So the songs flowed. The direction for the show is a little bit more drama. And I like the cast. Like, I think the guy Jabari Banks does a good job playing Will. And the jokes are still there. They're not like super jokey, but it works. But this is my review on Bel Air. Have you seen Bel Air? You tell me in the comments, guys. Your boy Ilblurmatic. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for supporting. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Take care, guys. Ilblurmatic and the saga continues. Oh, yeah.